What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. My name's Kyle. Tonight, it's our Wednesday night live mock hangout. We're doing a 12-team ESPN PPR mock draft. I'm drafting from the 12 spot today. We got a lot of guys in the chat room that are going to be drafting with us. So let's get into a screen share, and then we'll take a peek at their spots as well. Shout out to Harris. Looks like Harris is picking from the 2. We got Chase hanging out with us. I'm not sure, where did I see Chase? Chase is picking number 7. And then I believe Justin was able to grab his spot number 4. If anyone else, it looks like Aiden's in pick 11. I don't know if he's in here with us yet, but anybody else in the chat room tonight, let us know what spot you got. And then, yeah, the big news today was the Traylon Burks. It looked like he went up for a catch and landed on his left leg. It looked like he might have I thought he might have hyperextended it, which I guess plays with the LCL sprain. This is best case scenario. I think the average healing time for an LCL sprain is about 4 to 6 weeks. So we have at least 3 to 4 weeks until the NFL season starts. So I'm gonna put Traylon Burks as questionable for week 1, and I don't think it's that bad, Chase. I think we're gonna be okay here. All right, it's gonna be good practice for everybody. And yeah, man, let's get into it. This is my final. We still got 2 more Wednesdays before the season starts, so we're gonna get those mocks in. But at this point, I can choose whatever spot I want. I've done every mock 1 through 12. So if you guys want to check out the mock draft playlist, please do so. We got Ryan hanging out with us tonight. He's in pick number 5. I thought that might have been him, Team TM. And we're underway. The draft is moving and grooving. It looks like Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase to Harris, Austin Eckler, Christian McCaffrey to Justin. And we'll see what Ryan does here with his pick. He gets Tyreek Hill. I'm going to pull up the team history. We'll just do a little bit of maintenance here and zoom in for you guys. But anyways, hope you guys are all having a good evening. We got football on tomorrow. I think the week 2 preseason is going to be a pretty good amount of starters playing, hopefully. I'm not sure about week 3. I think week 3 is going to be more about those guys trying to make the team. And hopefully we get enough starters playing in week 2 for us to make an assessment. Do any of you guys have like your big league drafts this coming weekend? I'm hoping you guys pushed it off yet, but we'll see. Mine are Labor Day, so that's when we're prepping. But either way, we're moving here. It looks like Bijan Robinson went 6, Cooper Kupp, Travis Kelce to 8, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, and we'll see what Aiden grabs at 11. I'm not sure what I want to do at pick 12, but I like my options here. I think it's Tony Pollard for me. He's the running back that I like a lot. Nick Chubb would be the consolation running back. I think if I'm picking 12, say you're watching this and you have pick 12 at home, I think you got to grab a running back here. It's going to be enticing to go wide receiver, but I want to make sure you stay balanced throughout your draft here. And I think just the last week or so, the lights coming on, I think you need a top 6 running back, and Pollard and Chubb are both on that list for me. I'll grab my favorite wide receiver here. A lot of people like Devontae Adams still. CeeDee Lamb's one of those guys, but I already have Pollard. I don't know if I want to dip too much into the Dallas Cowboys offense. Garrett Wilson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, A.J. Brown could be a nice option as well. I'm going to go with A.J. Brown here. I really do like Amon-Ra St. Brown. I've been mocking him a lot lately, though, but I'm just going to take A.J. Brown, get access to the Eagles offense, and I'll see if maybe one of the other guys can fall back to me at the 3rd round, 4th round turn. So Tony Pollard, A.J. Brown. I do have A.J. Brown as a top. He's a fringe top 5. He's a top 10 receiver. And all right, we were able to get K. Dotton off there. Good job. And yeah, that's kind of the thinking here. I mean, I used to really like Devontae Adams, man, but I'm nervous about the Raiders. The Jets. Garrett Wilson's coming back from an ankle injury, which I'm not too scared about that, but I just think the Jets offense to the Eagles offense, I'm still taking the Eagles offense. Otherwise, Amon-Ra St. Brown, I know he got dinged up in practice today too, so I'm monitoring that. But if I'm picking this weekend, man, it just sounds like every time I go look and see what's going on with the Eagles offense on Twitter, it just seems like Jalen Hurts is balling the hell out. So I want a piece of that Eagles offense. I'm cool with A.J. Brown being my guy. But after I take A.J. Brown, you see Aiden get CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson goes off the board, Amon-Ra St. Brown off the board. Great pick there by Chase with Nick Chubb. Let's go, Samuel. Doing putt-putt for draft order. What are the top 3 positions to draft at? I think I really like being in the top 4 this year because you're getting access to the top 2 receivers and the top 2 running backs. That's Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, CMC, and Austin Eckler. Otherwise, I think I'm a fan of being at the end. If you can't get a top 4 spot, try to get yourself back at the 11, 12. You're able to get, I mean, I was able to get Tony Pollard and AJ Brown here. I do think, sometimes Saquon Barkley falls to the back end of the first. Put yourself in a position to get a top 6 running back and a top 5, top 10 wide receiver. So I'll say the top 4 spots are all in play. And I mean, if you want JJ, you got to be the first pick. If you want Chase, you got to be second or 3. Austin Eckler and CMC are kind of slippery with how they go. But I think for sure I like being top 4. Otherwise, I like being 11, 12. Just because I really like being with my picks close together. I like being able to make quick decisions. Yeah, thoughts on the Waddle injury? I'm not too concerned. He took a shot to the ribs, it sounded like. Again, we're still 3 weeks away from week 1. So as long as he is at practice and we don't have any, alarming notes coming out, I think we're okay with Jalen Waddle. Hopefully they give him a couple days off still. Let's see here. Justin gets DK Metcalf there, and he kind of caught, that's kind of the bottom barrel of the wide receiver run, which I'm fine with DK Metcalf. It's just, going back to Samuel's point, like the 2-3 turn does not look all that great. To me, there's kind of a drop off after DK Metcalf. And I think Justin made the right call here. Otherwise, I mean, T. Higgins, he did go and get Jahmyr Gibbs, which is a nice consolation. But the top of round 3 is Waddle, ETN, Higgins, Gibbs, Calvin Ridley, Pat Mahomes. I don't hate this group here, but I don't like picking between Jacobs, Mixon, and Jonathan Taylor. So I think you did the right thing, Justin. Came away with Gibbs. You're excited about Gibbs. It looks like you got a nice 2 running back DK Metcalf start. So just hammer wide receivers and you'll be fine. Otherwise, we have a QB run here. Pat Mahomes just went. Najee Harris went. Jalen Hurts went. It looks like Chase got Najee Harris. I would have loved Jalen Hurts to fall to me, but that's okay. Stack him with AJ Brown, but I can't do it. Hurts, Allen, Jones, and Mark Andrews off the board. So I'm up to pick here. We have a falling Ramondre Stevenson, which I don't hate, especially in a full PPR. I think that's probably the format that you want him in. Slightly concerned about that, though. I might be able to find some running backs that I like later in the draft. I'm gonna grab Keenan Allen here. He's the wide receiver that I think I really want from this group. I'm very high on the Chargers. So I'm going to grab Keenan Allen to be my wide receiver too. I took Ramondre Stevenson and Dameon Pierce a lot in some of the mock drafts here. I'm a big fan of Dameon Pierce, but I don't know. I think we're going to be able to get some running backs when it comes back to us. I'm going to grab Jerry Jeudy here to be my wide receiver 3. I think a lot of people are expecting Jerry Jeudy to have a nice little breakout. So I get him as my 3 here. I got Pollard, AJ Brown, Keenan Allen, and Jerry Jeudy. That feels pretty good to me. I'll find some running back 2s to plug in there at the RB2 spot. And I prefer Pierce or Stevenson. So they're actually like right next to each other in my projections right now. This weekend, Saturday is going to be a busy video day for me. I plan on putting out my QB ranking video, running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. So I'm going to get you guys all an update in the rankings. I think for where they're being drafted right now, either way, both offenses are not going to be great. I think I prefer Ramondre, just because I know he's a really good pass catcher. Dameon Pierce, I think he's a good pass catcher yet, but we haven't seen it yet in that offense. I mean, I think it's really close. Both guys do pencil in as running back 2s really nicely. I think they're both top 15 backs. Texans just have a little bit unknown to their offense, whereas at least Mac Jones, we've seen him for a few years. They have Bill O'Brien there, offensive coordinating now. It feels a little safer to take Ramondre over Dameon Pierce, but either way, I mean, I'm pretty sure my projections have let me see where I got these guys. Yeah, I mean, I got Dameon Pierce at 13, Ramondre at 15. They're basically the same projection. So I feel good about both guys just as RB2s. I think I'd rather I hammered the wide receivers here. I just thought it might be a little bit easier to get running backs later in the draft, and we'll see what we can find. But let's catch back up. After I took Keenan Allen and Jerry Jeudy, you see Amari Cooper, Deebo Samuel, Ramondre there goes at 40, Chris Godwin. Chase gets Dameon Pierce. I like that pick there. TJ Hawkinson, and Ryan grabs Alvin Kamara here at 44. I'm coming around to Alvin Kamara. I still think, round 4 is a bit pricey, but I think the Saints are going to be really pretty good on offense and defense this year. So I'm leaning towards Alvin Kamara being one of those guys that you want to put on your bench and just find a guy to start for 3 games, because when he comes back, Kamara is probably going to be a pretty good fantasy asset. And then Justin grabs the Mike Williams, Lamar Jackson, Harris grabs DJ Moore, which I'm sure Harris had a nice day watching that Bears game last Saturday. The DJ Moore screen to the house, followed by Khalil Herbert screen. And man, that's the nice thing about mock drafts. You got to try something different almost every time, see what happens. And the ADP is changing up a little bit on ESPN now that they have Dalvin Cook and Ezekiel Elliott going to the correct teams. Breece Hall falling all the way to 52 looks pretty good. In the 5th round, I mean, I kind of view him very similarly to Alvin Kamara, where those first 3 games, I don't know what I'm getting from Breece Hall. I'm probably not going to start him week 1. I want to see how the snaps and the touches go before I put him in my lineup. But I think putting Breece Hall on my team is a good move, because I'm going to want him on my team for the fantasy playoffs. So I like that stash there, Justin. Harris gets Darren Waller at 50. So I like the Waller bit a lot. Kenneth Walker goes to Ryan here. James Cook up at 54, man. James Cook is one of my favorite players to draft this year, but I think at this point he's getting a little too pricey. I have him as like RB24, but he's kind of jumping the shark right now. Great pick there by Chase, Drake London. I'm not sure what to do with Miles Sanders. He's nursing a groin injury right now, which I don't love it for the longevity of the season. But we're up to pick here. I got 1 running back and 3 wide receivers. I could grab DeAndre Hopkins here, who is going to pencil in as my wide receiver 4. Let me see what other running backs we got here. Akers, Javonte. There are some guys that I like here, but I think I'm gonna play the waiting game here. I'm gonna grab DeAndre Hopkins, man. We got a Treylon Burks injury today. Hopkins should be locked into wide receiver 3 for fantasy at least, so I feel good about that. And then let's go ahead and get Justin Herbert on the squad. We got Herbert with Keenan Allen. Now I have 4 really solid wide receivers: AJ Brown, Keenan Allen, Jerry Jeudy, DeAndre Hopkins. Still have Tony Pollard. Need a tight end. We'll see what falls to us at the 7-8 turn. Yeah, 7-8 turn. J.K. Dobbins was a good pick there, Aiden. I was hoping some running backs would fall to me. I'm not sure where Dobbins was ranked here, but I do like Dobbins a lot. Looks like he was ranked 92. If you have to pull J.K. Dobbins in the 6th round, I think that's fair price. He's looked good in the clips that I've seen him practice in. And I think the hope with J.K. Dobbins is he leads the team in carries this year. He's probably going to be between 8 to 10 touchdowns. And man, if the Ravens finally start throwing the ball to the running backs, that's what's going to take J.K. Dobbins to a running back 1 tier. So I do like J.K. Cam Akers also goes right after Mike Evans. Terry McLaurin, a nice pull here. Christian Kirk goes to Chase. And then Jackson Smith-Njigba, man, I think he's starting to go over Tyler Lockett consistently in the mocks. I know I saw it in Best Ball today. JSN season is upon us here. And Dallas Goedert goes. That's one of my favorite picks there, Ryan. If I can't get Darren Waller, I want Dallas Goedert in all my drafts to be my tight end 1. Absolutely in love with Dallas Goedert. He looks really nice. To me, I think he's a top 5 tight end. As long as he stays healthy, Dallas Goedert's going to be pretty dang good. Javonte thoughts. So, again, I traditionally don't like taking guys who are coming off of a serious knee injury, but much like Breece, and J.K. Dobbins kind of paved the way for us last year. Same thing with Cam Akers, because Cam Akers was coming off of an Achilles. If you can draft these guys with ACL injuries and find a way to cover your bases for a month, let these guys heat up, because as the season goes on, they should be becoming closer and closer to their old selves. So I think there's room to draft Javonte Williams this year. Has he been picked yet? Yeah, he just went now. It looks like this guy grabbed him. Round 7.6, man, I think it makes sense. And again, you can easily find a running back to plug in there for a month and see what happens. I do think Javonte's ahead of Breece Hall. We're going to see Javonte Williams play this weekend. So we'll see how he looks, Justin. If he looks good, then we're going to probably move him up the rankings just a little bit, maybe into the early 7th or the 6th round. But I'm starting to get tempted, and I usually don't take players coming off those knee injuries, but I'm getting tempted with Javonte and Brees. Let's see here. 7th round recap, George Kittle. Great pick there by Harris, David Montgomery, Kyle Pitts, Michael Thomas, Trevor Lawrence, Javonte Williams, Jahan Dotson. That's one of my favorite wide receivers to grab. Dalvin Cook, Brandon Ayuk, Deshaun Watson, and Jordan Addison. So I'm up to pick here. I'm looking at the running backs. I could grab Isaiah Pacheco. Khalil Herbert is available. We got some wide receivers. I kind of got locked out at tight end, so I'm going to have to grab Pat Freiermuth if I want a top one. This one's tough. I'm just going to grab Pacheco. We know he's a good running back on a great scoring offense. He'll be my running back too. I'm going to want to find more competition at that position though. If I could take another one here, I probably should. But I think I'm going to kind of go empty running back on this one. Unless I like my tight ends. Okay, we're going to go 0 tight end build on this one. I'm just going to grab Khalil Herbert. I don't know if he is the locked-in starting running back. It sure appeared that way the other day on Saturday. But the dude took a screen to the house, whatever, 50-some yards. There is some excitement for him as a receiver, and I still think he's a really good running back. So I'll put Khalil Herbert on my bench. And basically, by taking Tony Pollard in the first round and not taking a running back until now, I'm looking for 2 or 3 running backs that I could start at running back too. So I like kind of building an RB2 by committee. Did I wait too late for tight end? Justin, that's kind of been my thing. I think the drop-off here is after Njoku. Typically, it's Pat Freiermuth. That's like the last tight end that I'm comfortable starting. But otherwise, if you miss on Pat, I'm okay with Njoku. Otherwise, at this point, it's the Wild West. We're going to be playing the tight end sweepstakes where we're just hoping for 7 to 8 points. I would grab Njoku here. I think he's fine. He's in a good offense. Otherwise, yeah, we're playing whack-a-mole at tight end. I do have some sleepers that we'll discuss at some point, and that's why I haven't taken one yet. We'll see what we can get. Justin does get David Njoku there, but otherwise, like, these guys are all touchdown boom bust dependents. So yeah, I think Waller in the 5th is kind of where you want to be for tight end. If you miss on Waller, you should put Goddard up on your list, because Goddard in the 6th I think is going to look pretty good. And did Zay go? Zay Flowers? Yeah, Zay Flowers is moving up the ESPN boards. I've noticed that. He is probably he's a much better pick than Odell Beckham or Rashad Bateman right now. It sounds like he's pretty much unguardable in Ravens camp. But after I took Khalil Herbert, you got A.J. Dillon going to Aiden, Brandon Cooks, Pat Freiermuth, Michael Pittman. Chase gets Evan Ingram, which I also think he took. Did he take I can't remember who got Trevor Lawrence, but Zay Flowers, great pick here by Ryan. Antonio Gibson, I absolutely love Antonio Gibson in a full PPR. Justin gets David Njoku. I'm still open to grabbing Treylon Burks. I think he's a great bench pick. And then look at that, Harris. You get DeAndre Swift at 95, so that's a good value there for you. Sutton, Dak Prescott, Sky Moore. Absolutely love Sky Moore. He's going right around pick 100. Kirk, Gabe Davis, another good pick. Ryan gets both Commanders backs. I do that a lot in best ball. That's a good strategy. We'll just see how the chips fall. But I'm almost up to pick. I'm not sure who's going to be sticking out here for me. Them tight ends are pretty gross. Schultz, Higbee, Dulcich, I think I'll punt. Running backs, though, I can get Jamal, I can get Pirine. There are some running backs that I don't mind here. I'm going to grab Samaje Perine, who I think is going to have a role with the Broncos. The wide receivers, I'm not in love with the wide receivers. I did grab 4 of them, so maybe I come back to that group. Man, this is ugly. Did someone grab my guy already? Wow. Okay. I'm just gonna grab Jamal Williams here. Just put him on my bench. So I have enough running backs now. I have Tony Pollard, Pacheco, Herbert, Pirine, and Jamal Williams. I'll figure it out at that point. I think I have 5 start. Like, I can start either one of those guys at the RB2 spot week 1. So I think that works out okay. Thoughts on Zeke and Cook? Okay. So with Ezekiel Elliott going with the Patriots, I think last year Ramondre Stevenson had Damian Harris kind of behind him, and that's going to be the role used for Ezekiel Elliott. Now, I know Damian Harris wasn't healthy for all those games, but you're still going to have Ramondre be the lead passing down back. I think goal line's probably going to go to Zeke. You're probably going to lose short yardage to Zeke as well. So to me, Ramondre Stevenson, to be honest, my numbers didn't change much at all. I already had a Patriots veteran running back in there as RB2. So Ramondre kind of remains just a steady running back 2 in PPR purposes. In a standard or half PPR, I'm not as excited about Ramondre. With Zeke, I'm not drafting Zeke. I don't think we want any part of him on fantasy. He's more of a best ball only guy. With Dalvin Cook, personally, I don't think Dalvin Cook has the juice anymore. He seemed to kind of be losing it last year already. So I'm not drafting Dalvin Cook at all. I'm not interested. He might be a guy for September. He might be off to a good fantasy season start. But he's one of those guys that I'm like, come fantasy playoffs, probably don't even want Dalvin Cook on my team. So like if you draft him, maybe try and move him after a couple good games, something like that. But I think you're going to see the pendulum swing towards Breece Hall at some point during the Jets season. And I just don't want to be caught holding Dalvin Cook. I don't know if he's going to be as useful for me down the stretch. But after I took Jamal Williams, you got Odell Beckham. Great pick there. Anthony Richardson, Juju, Dalton Schultz, Jerick McKinnon, Aaron Rodgers, Quentin Johnston. Nice rookie stash there for Ryan. Geno Smith. So Justin's doing the late QB approach. Rondale Moore, great pick here by Harris, Jeff Wilson. I like all the Dolphins running backs. I think there's room for all 3 of those guys on our bench. Rashad Penny, DJ Chark, and then Harris grabs Jared Goff here as one of his late QB1 starters. So looking pretty good there, guys, on your late QBs. Raheem Mostert goes to Justin here. Ryan gets Jaylen Warren. I'm a big Jaylen Warren fan this year. I actually this might be crazy, but I actually really like Jaylen Warren. I think he might be a better football player than Najee Harris. And the first preseason game, they gave Jaylen Warren more snaps and more touches than Najee Harris. And I know it's just a preseason game, but it's something to note. But I'm almost up to pick here. I just want to look around and see. I have 5 running backs. I do need more wide receivers. If I look around here, I don't mind grabbing a rookie like Jaden Reed. Rashee Rice, another rookie here. It looks pretty ugly at this point for receivers. I wish I had one more good one. I do have 4, so I'm at least okay there. I'm going to look at the tight ends real quick. Higbee. I'm going to grab Dalton Kincaid. Aiden's finally getting me interested in Dalton Kincaid, so I like him quite a bit. Is there any more running? I'm going to grab Kenneth Gainwell and be done at running back because I did go heavy wide receiver early, and I'm basically hunting for a running back too. I want to fill up that part of my bench, and now I have 6 running backs to monitor throughout the year. Personally, I would rather have Kenneth Gainwell over Swift at ADP, over Rashad Penny at ADP. I think Kenneth Gainwell is going to probably be the last man standing. And yes, we got to talk about Dalton Kincaid, guys. If you wait on tight end, you're going to grab 2 tight ends, right? Make Dalton Kincaid one of them. He is essentially Cole Beasley for the Bengals, but you can put him, or for the Bills, but you can put him at tight end. That's what they're using him as. That is his role. He is a slot receiver for Josh Allen, and he's going to be on the field a ton. The first preseason game, they pretty much ran 2 tight end sets the whole time. So you got to think about Kincaid. He's not a tight end, man. He is a Travis Kelce-esque tight end. He's going to be pretty much just pass catching only. And I view him after Diggs and Gabe Davis. Kincaid's right there for targets. I think you're going to see Kincaid and James Cook up there in the 70 target range. So if you miss a tight end early, make sure Kincaid's one of your 2 tight ends. I still have a couple tight ends that I want to grab yet and figure it out. But I'm slowly coming around to Kincaid being a guy. I didn't have a Buffalo Bill on my team, so it made sense for me to get access into that offense through Kincaid. Let's see here. Aiden says 10 PPR. This guy trades Chubb, Kittle, and Hollywood for Jamar and Njoku. What do I do? This guy trades Chubb, Kittle, and Hollywood Brown, Jamar, and Njoku. It's a pretty even trade. I mean, Chubb's a top 5 running back. Jamar's a top 5 receiver. So that kind of balances out. Personally, I'm not a huge George Kittle guy. I think he's coming down in touchdowns this year. I don't view Kittle as a top 5 tight end. I view him as a top 10 tight end, and I kind of view Njoku as a top 10 tight end. So those guys are kind of a wash. And Hollywood Brown is kind of actually the bonus piece here. So I think it's pretty fair. I don't know. Which side is yours there, Aiden? But I'm up to pick here. I'm on deck. I have 2 more bench spots to fill. Here is my sleeper tight end for you guys that you should be drafting on all your teams. I do want to shout out Jawan Johnson, who looked really good in the preseason with Derek Carr. He's definitely on the list. But the guy to draft is Jake Ferguson, the Dallas Cowboys tight end. He went 3 for like 37 yards in week 1 preseason. He is the pass catcher. So I am completely in love with Jake Ferguson. I want him quite a bit. We got Charlene saying the Deuce Vaughn. I'm actually not in love with Deuce Vaughn. I think Deuce Vaughn's fine, but I don't want to burn a roster spot with the handcuff there. I'm going to grab a wide receiver here. I do like Alec Pierce. Rashad Bateman is interesting. I could grab Marvin Mims Jr., and that's what we're going to do. I'm going to grab another access piece into that Broncos offense. I like Deuce Vaughn, but I personally think Malik Davis is the RB2 there. Rico Dowdle is the 3. I think Deuce Vaughn still has some work to do. Yeah, I like Jawan. I personally didn't love my draft either, Justin. Jamar Chase. I also need a running back. Have Stevenson and Hall. Let's see the Jamar Chase side. So I wouldn't panic having Stevenson and Hall. Do you have a third running back there, Aiden? Yeah, this was a tough one. This was when we're all in the same draft, it gets a little steeper. But I also think people are just starting to get a little bit sharper now that things are moving around. We'll look at everybody's draft here at the end, but you guys kind of know what I think. At the end of the draft, I basically just want to make sure I have a good bench because by the end of the season, your bench is going to get tested and you're only going to go as far as your bench goes. Aiden, I think you're fine. I mean, you got Stevenson, Dobbins, and Breece Hall. I'm probably going to start Stevenson and J.K. Dobbins week 1 and see what Breece can do for you. I don't think you need to trade. I would personally keep Jamar Chase. Keep Jamar Chase, and I think as long as you just got to be patient at running back. You got some good ones. We're going to be making defense and kicker our final picks here. Everyone already kind of knows I like the Saints defense quite a bit. I don't know if there's another defense out there that I want to grab. There is one defense for week 1 that I think makes the most sense if you want to grab a defense and just stream them and then move on to the next one and just, kind of hop it. That's the Commanders. The Washington Commanders do play the Arizona Cardinals week 1. That's been my biggest and most targeted defense. I think if I miss on the Saints, I'm going with the Commanders. Otherwise, you got to just pick a defense that you think is going to win week 1 pretty much. Stay away from the Chiefs. Stay away from the Lions. We'll see what Aiden does here. I don't hate the Packers defense week 1 against the Bears. I think that's going to be a lower scoring game. I'm kind of just waiting to get closer to the NFL season to see what the game lines are. Whenever I look at defenses, I'm taking a defense that's projected to not have a lot of points in it. So we'll fill it in with the Commanders here. And then I want to look at kicker. Who cares? Sure, I'll take Seattle's kicker. So that's my draft from the 12 spot. I'll recap it here for you. We went with Justin Herbert at the QB. Our running backs, Tony Pollard's locked into the 1, and then this is our running back 2 competition. We have Pacheco, Khalil Herbert, Samaje Perine, Jamal Williams, Kenneth Gainwell. So we got 5 guys fighting for spot 2. Our wide receivers are A.J. Brown, Keenan Allen, Jerry Jeudy. We do have DeAndre Hopkins on the bench as our 4, and then I grabbed Marvin Mims as my sleeper number 5. I wish I had one more solid wide receiver, so that's probably my bad there. I should have drafted maybe one more. And then tight end, we got Dalton Kincaid. We have Jake Ferguson, some young guys here that I think can hold down the fort. And let me see. All right, yeah, Harris, you have a good Harris has some openings. If you guys are interested, you guys can reach out to me or reach out to Harris here. He's got a league on Yahoo. I believe it's a 12-team. Is it a full PPR, Harris? I can't remember, but he's trying to fill a 12-team Yahoo mock. I don't think there's any money involved, but if you guys are interested, reach out to me on Twitter or in this video. We'll get you guys the info. But if you guys want to play in a league with me and Harris, you guys can reach out. It's on Yahoo. And then let's look at some of your guys' team. Let's check out with Harris's team. He was from the 2 spot. He wound it up with Justin Fields as his QB1. His running backs are Joe Mixon and Travis Etienne. Wide receivers, Jamar Chase, DJ Moore. Tight end is Darren Waller. And then his flex is going to be David Montgomery. He's going to have competition for the flex from DeAndre Swift, Sky Moore, Jeff Wilson. Backup QB is Jared Goff. my man can't stop drafting Adam Thielen, KJ Osborne, and Damian Harris. So it looks like a solid lineup here for you. It's a 10-team non-PPR league in the Yahoo League. Let's take a look here at Justin's team. Justin waited for QB, and he went with Geno Smith. His running backs are McCaffrey and Jahmyr Gibbs. Love that duo in a full PPR league. DK Metcalf and Mike Williams. Love those two receivers. He got David Njoku, who's kind of like the last of the top 10 tight ends. And then he's got Breece Hall at flex. I would imagine he's going to start one of these guys over them week one, though. Pickens, Michael Thomas, Gabe Davis. Fantastic receiver depth here, my man. I like that top 5 group for your receivers. Ended up getting Raheem Mostert on the bench as his RB4. You can maybe pull him up over Breece Hall to start the year. Kyler Murray, Kadarius Toney, Tyler Conklin. This looks solid there, Justin. Ryan, or a New Orleans RB duo. They're both really good. I think I'm going to prefer the New Orleans duo. Well, I'm going to change that answer. I prefer the Commanders duo because I think they're going to work more as a tandem, like a 50-50 split, whereas New Orleans, I think it's going to be a lot of Alvin Kamara passing and a lot of Jamal Williams running the ball. So they're basically very equal. I think you got the right player in Kamara. So the way you did it, Ryan, is the way I would recommend it. You want to grab both Commanders backs and grab Kamara. So Ryan's got Trevor Lawrence, Alvin Kamara, Kenneth Walker, Tyreek Hill, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert. So he's got both Eagles here. I have to sneeze. Bless me. Calvin Ridley in the flex. Ryan, this team looks really, really solid. Obviously, you're going to need someone to start for Alvin Kamara. You went and grabbed both Commanders backs, Gibson or Brian Robinson. I think you're probably going to want to start Brian Robinson week 1 against the Cardinals. This looks really, really strong. And then you got a baby here in Quentin Johnston. Maybe we'll be using him at some point. I love Jalen Warren on the bench. I love Tyler Algier on the bench. You got some firepower with Zay Jones and then Kendre Miller. So I'm slightly nervous about Kendre Miller here. I probably would have grabbed maybe one more wide receiver, but either way, I like your tandem here. And when Kamara returns, man, this is going to look really, really good. And I think you covered your bases enough to get you through Kamara's buys. Aiden, or this is Chase's team here. Chase ended up with Derek Carr, who looked fantastic in preseason. You got Nick Chubb, Najee Harris to hold down the running back 1 and 2 spot. Cooper Kupp and Drake London at the 2 wide receivers. Evan Ingram, the nice top 10 tight end, and then Dameon Pierce in the flex. But he's got some really nice flex competition here. Christian Kirk, Jahan Dotson, Elijah Moore, Jerick McKinnon, Devon Achane, Jade Reed, Rashad Bateman. I think I like Chase's team. Chase's bench is amazing. Christian Kirk, Dotson, Elijah Moore, McKinnon, Achane, Jaden Reed. This looks like the team can go the distance, man. I really like it. You waited for QB. It allowed you to build up the other pieces. But this looks pretty good, Chase. I like your depth a ton. And then did we go over Aiden's team here? Aiden started, he's got 2 at the QB1. You got Alexander Madison and J.K. Dobbins at the 2 RB spots. Diggs and Lamb were his start. Mark Andrews as the tight end, and then Amari Cooper in the flex. This passes the test. Jordan Addison on the bench, A.J. Dillon, Odell Beckham, Romeo Doubs, and I believe is that Jameson Williams, Ezekiel Elliott, and Tajay Spears. So he's a little light on running back. Hopefully Madison and Dobbins can stay healthy. I do like A.J. Dillon. I probably would have went maybe one more running back instead of Beckham, but either way, I think this was a tough draft for all of us. I think all of us don't really like our teams, but that's kind of the sign of a good draft. You know, you're in a good draft when it's like, well, I like this, but I could be better at that. So I think everybody did pretty good. I like stashing Kyler Murray a lot too. And yeah, man, no problem. And yeah, dude, we're going to have a lot of fun. We got that super flex league that we're going to be drafting. That's going to be Labor Day. I will end up streaming that, but I'm going to get out of here, guys, for the evening. Tomorrow night, though, if you guys are free, I'm going to be going live tomorrow night. I think I set it for 6 o'clock. Let's just hang out. I'm basically just answering questions. We'll read some news. We'll look at some rankings and projections, but this is my last weekend where I'm really available, so I want to make as many videos and content as I can. So if you guys want to hang out, I'll give you guys about an hour tomorrow. Fire away questions. We'll just hang out in the lobby, and we'll talk and get as much as we can, get done before the weekend here. So if you're drafting this weekend, come hang out tomorrow night, 6 o'clock Central Time. I'll have everything for you guys. And yeah, man, no problem. I have a wedding to go to next weekend, and then Labor Day weekend I'm out of town because that's when my league gets together and we go draft. So we're in the thick of it. Week 2 of the preseason, man. If you guys want to come hang out tomorrow night, please do so. And hey, don't be shy if you guys want to play in the league on Yahoo with Harris. Let me know. You guys can reach out on Twitter, whatever you need. Enjoy the rest of your night, guys. We'll see you tomorrow night, 6 o'clock Central Time. Peace.